Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. And thank you for joining this morning's edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, because you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys because things happen late in the evening, late at night, first thing in the morning, so you want to be up to speed with all that is America's team. Ooh, and speaking of sleeping on, oh boy, this thing that you hate is Sunday night games here on the East Coast, because, it was 12 o'clock before everybody got out the door and getting everything cleaned up from the game last night and stuff, but it was well worth the lack of sleep. So this is the Monday morning hangover. Ooh, boy. But better to have this Monday morning hangover with a victory over the hated New York stinking Giants. And their offensive linemen stink. Eric Flowers, they might as well sign Chaz Green, because I think he'd be an improvement over Eric Flowers. Our defense, oh my God. 6 sacks, 9 sacks on the season in 2 games. Unbelievable. One of the things that I always tell you guys, it's an interesting stat. There's some things that you always know make a difference in games. Turnovers can change the complexion of a game. You can go from having an onslaught ready to roll to all of a sudden being down because of turnovers. And another one is sacks. More times than not, the teams that go to the Super Bowl are in the mid-40s or better in sacks. Something this team has not done in a long, long time. Last year, I believe we had 37, which was far and away better than the 20s that we'd been having on a consistent basis. The fact that we have 9 sacks, if we can just get some interceptions to go along with those sacks, that defense is going to be really, really tough to take care of. And that's the great thing that we have right now, something we have not had since the 90s. And one of the reasons why I don't believe that we've made it to the promised land. We've always had a good enough offense to compete, but it was always worried about, oh my God, the other team's got the ball. Can Aaron frickin' Rodgers go down the field on us again? And yes, he always would. But now, instead of the defense being that redheaded stepchild, our defense is plain stout. Hey, our defense is going to be a top 5 defense. I said that before the season started, and a lot of people laughed at me. But the difference is last night Sean Lee went out and everybody was like, oh my God, it's Sean Lee's hamstring. Here we go. He's the glass man. He's going to be gone again. But actually, it was just cramps. Just cramps. He'll be fine. He'll be playing next week. We're in great shape there. But what's apparent that we didn't have last year is we have depth at linebacker. Now, already people last week were talking about Van Der Esch as a bust, the same way they were talking last year that Taco was a bust. Well, believe it or not, Van Der Esch has 10 tackles already this season, 7 last night in relief of Sean Lee. And that's the difference on this defense, because the difference of when Sean Lee went out, we were holding guys under 90 yards rushing a game. Sean Lee goes out, they double it. So that's how important Sean Lee was. And then you had Jalen Smith, who was on one leg. And you can see Jalen Smith, oh my God, he's a beast. And when Sean Lee goes out, you got a Damian Wilson, you have a Joe Thomas, and you have a Van Der Esch. We actually have a luxury of being able to rotate linebackers in there the same way we have with the defensive line. Barkley never got going last night, even though he ended up with, 14 catches, a Giants rookie record. But they're only like for 3-4 yards. Everything Eli had to do basically was dink and dunk. So our defense, although they weren't playing exactly 2 of the best offenses the first 2 weeks, still did the job. They did everything that was required. Our offense, you saw Zeke get in the end zone. Zeke had a better rushing performance, but we still did not get Zeke the ball that much. Still under 20 carries. And what you're also seeing is, and I've been saying this, the Walking Dead, the Dallas Cowboys, 80%, as Voss would call them, will say Dak sucks, the team sucks, we're not going anywhere. And I still say, and maybe I'll reevaluate this as we go along, but they're taking baby steps right now. You got to understand, they have a lot of new parts that take time to meld. You see Zeke Elliott playing better this week than he did last week. And the thing that's interesting about Zeke, every year he started out kind of slow until he gets into the groove about week 3, week 4. His rookie year, I was actually looking at him saying, maybe Alfred Morris should be starting because Zeke just did not look like he had it till later in the game. So you're seeing Zeke now coming along. He's getting some runs on a consistent basis. You're seeing Dak beginning to hit receivers, and he missed, sadly, Rico Gathers twice. But again, all these pieces are new pieces, and they didn't play together in preseason. So this, in fact, is your preseason. And as we look around the NFL, teams that looked great last week, not so great this week. There are teams that you looked at the first week and said, oh my God, look at the Baltimore Ravens. They scored 47 points and only gave up 3. Then the next week, what happens? They look like dirt. They couldn't perform and do jack against the Bengals. And as you look around, you see a lot of these teams, because take a look at New Orleans. New Orleans, one of those teams that everybody said, oh, New Orleans is great. You know, playoff team last year, great defense, you know, Drew Brees. And now, not so much. Because what always happens that the talking heads don't take into account very often is a turnover. Half of the teams that were good last year won't be this year. Remember, the playoffs in the NFC, only the Atlanta Falcons went to playoffs back-to-back. Everyone else was a new team to go to the playoffs in the NFC last year. So as we started looking around, well, the Rams are 2-0. They looked good. They took care of business. You look at the Eagles, their defense gave up to Tampa Bay. You have to worry about that, as well as Nick Foles isn't on that hot streak that he was going into the Super Bowl. Now, they may get Carson Wentz back this week, be able to practice, but they're going to kind of take him along. But they just don't seem to have that spark that they had at the moment. But again, what I always tell you is you really don't know what kind of team you have till really about October. The first 3 or 4 games are really preseason. They're really teams getting their legs underneath of them. I'm not ready to say that the Dallas Cowboys are in a groove yet, but you like to see the progress. You like seeing that the defense played 2 games together back-to-back. You like to see that Austin now all of a sudden with about 12 catches got about 98 yards in offense. That's kind of what you want to have see. He's not going to get 20 touches a game, but if he gets 10 or 12 and can produce the way he produced, that's a great weapon. And you saw Dak pass it around to a lot of guys. Now, like I said, we still have a ways to go, but the thing that I liked that the Cowboys did when they came out was they went down the field. They challenged them. They opened up the field as opposed to Carolina. Carolina, they kept everything in so tight, so close. Carolina could cheat everybody in. The first 2 drives, the Cowboys really opened it up, challenged downfield, and they got rolling. Problem was, they then got conservative, and that's where you saw the offense kind of come back down to earth. The amazing thing, though, and we look at the numbers, the thing is, the Cowboys only had 50 plays in the whole game. 50. It's not very many. So, it wasn't a lot of opportunities to really get it down there. Now, we had some 3-and-outs. We had some drives that were stopped by penalties and things like that. But overall, I will give this game a definite improvement over where we were. So when I'm looking at our team, it looks like we came through again healthy for the most part. No major injuries, nobody getting hurt, and guys beginning to get their legs underneath of them. Negatives, still worried about the play calling a little bit. But they definitely opened up the playbook a little bit more and definitely are trying some new things. Glad to see Rico out there. I think that's just one of those things that We just got to develop some time and chemistry on the field with that. Oh, and one final thought. After last night, you wonder, why did they re-sign Bryce Butler? Why are they bringing him back? We'll have to wait and see on that one, guys. But as always, friends, I want to thank you guys, everybody who was in on the live stream last night. Oh, my God, there were so many people. We had a ball here with the New York Stinking Giant fan. He was a great sport and all that. He was basically speechless the whole game, which was great. And, of course, E2 Blue and DMV Dallas Cowboys, Michael Anthony Fitness, and Clarence Missing in Action. We all had a ball, and thank you guys for making it even more fun. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Joe Boo. And I got to go get to my day job. And I'll see you guys soon.